Dr. Elena Vasquez pressed her hand against the cold metal wall of the spaceship. The ESS Vengeance was the biggest ship humans had ever built. It was also the most dangerous. Elena looked out through the huge window at the stars moving past them. They were leaving Earth behind, and she wondered if they would ever come back. 3 years ago, everything changed for humanity. The aliens came without warning. They attacked Luna Colony first. Luna Colony was home to 50,000 people. Men, women, children, scientists, workers, all living peacefully on the moon. The aliens destroyed everything in one day. They used weapons that turned the colony into glass and dust. Not one person survived. Elena remembered watching the news reports. The pictures were terrible. Where Luna Colony once stood, there was nothing but a crater of melted rock. The aliens sent a message after the attack. They said humans were not welcome in space. They said Earth must stay on its home planet forever. They said any human ship that left Earth would be destroyed. The world was angry. People cried. People shouted. Governments met in emergency sessions. But what could they do? Earth had no weapons that could fight alien ships. Earth had no ships that could travel between stars. Earth was trapped. Then the alien ship crashed. It happened 6 months after Luna Colony was destroyed. An alien patrol ship had engine problems near Mars. The ship tried to land but crashed instead. Most of the ship was destroyed, but some parts survived. Earth sent rescue teams immediately. They found alien technology that was thousands of years ahead of human science. Dr. Elena Vasquez was one of the scientists who studied the alien wreckage. She was an expert in energy weapons and space travel. For 2.5 years, she worked day and night with other scientists from around the world. They learned how alien engines worked. They learned how alien weapons worked. They learned how alien computers worked. The knowledge was amazing and terrifying. The aliens had technology that could destroy planets. They had ships that could travel faster than light. They had weapons that could tear apart atoms themselves. But now humans had this knowledge too. The governments of Earth made a decision. They would build one ship. One massive warship that used alien technology. It would be humanity's answer to the attack on Luna Colony. It would show the aliens that humans were not helpless. Building the ship took 8 months. Every country on Earth helped. The best engineers worked together. The best scientists shared their knowledge. The best materials were used. Money was no problem. This ship had to be perfect. They called it the ESS Vengeance. It was over 2 kilometers long. It had weapons that could destroy entire fleets. It had shields that could stop almost any attack. It had engines that could travel between stars in days instead of years. Most importantly, it had weapons based on alien technology that the aliens themselves had never seen before. Elena was chosen to be the chief science officer. Captain Marcus Chen was chosen to command the ship. Admiral Sarah Morrison was chosen to plan the military operations. 3,000 of Earth's best people were selected to crew the ship. They all knew this might be a one-way trip. The mission was simple. Find the aliens who destroyed Luna Colony. Make them pay. Show the galaxy that humanity would not be pushed around. Show them that attacking Earth was a mistake. Elena walked through the ship's corridors. Everything was new and clean. The walls were painted white. The floors were polished metal. The lights were bright. It looked peaceful, but Elena knew better. The ship was built for war. Every system, every room, every piece of equipment was designed to destroy enemy ships. She stopped at the weapons control room. Through the window, she could see the massive plasma cannons. They were based on alien technology but improved by human engineers. The aliens had never seen weapons like these before. Elena hoped they would surrender when they saw what Earth could do. But she knew they probably would not. Captain Chen found her there. He was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth before being chosen for this mission. He understood war. He understood sacrifice. He understood that sometimes violence was the only answer. "Are you ready, Doctor?" he asked. Elena nodded. "The weapons are working perfectly. The engines are working perfectly. All systems are ready for combat." "Good," Chen said. "We'll reach the first alien system in 4 days. Intelligence says there's a patrol base there. We'll start with them." Elena looked at the captain. "Do you think they'll listen to reason? Do you think they'll stop attacking human ships if we show them our power?" Chen was quiet for a moment. "I don't know, Doctor. But I know what they did to Luna Colony. I know what they said about keeping humans trapped on Earth. Some things can't be forgiven. Some things require justice, the ship continued through space. Behind them, Earth was just a small dot of light. Ahead of them was the unknown. The crew worked at their stations. Engineers checked the engines. Weapons officers tested the guns. Communication officers listened for alien messages. Everyone knew they were making history. Elena went to her quarters that night. She looked at a picture of Luna Colony before the attack. Happy families walking in the artificial gardens. Children playing in the low gravity. Scientists making discoveries that would help all humanity. All of that was gone now. All of those people were dead. She opened her computer and began writing a report. She wanted to record everything that happened on this mission. If they didn't come back, at least Earth would know what they tried to do. If they did come back, the report would help plan future missions. Day 1 of Operation Vengeance, she wrote. We have left Earth successfully. All systems are working. The crew is ready. We carry with us the hopes of all humanity and the memory of Luna Colony. We will not let those people die for nothing. Elena saved the report and tried to sleep. Outside her window, the stars looked the same as always. Beautiful and peaceful. But she knew that was an illusion. Space was not peaceful. The galaxy was full of dangerous aliens who saw humans as insects to be crushed. The next few days would determine if humanity had a future among the stars, or if they would be trapped on Earth forever. The ESS Vengeance flew through the darkness toward its first target. On Earth, people watched the news and prayed for success. In space, alien patrol ships reported strange readings on their sensors. Something new was coming, something they had never seen before, something that would change everything. Elena finally fell asleep as the ship continued its journey. She dreamed of Luna Colony. She dreamed of the families who died there. She dreamed of the message they would send to the aliens who killed them. When she woke up, the war would begin. Captain Marcus Chen sat in the command chair of the ESS Vengeance. The bridge was quiet except for the soft sounds of computers and life support systems. Through the main screen, he could see the Proxima system ahead of them. 3 days had passed since they left Earth. 3 days of traveling through empty space. Now they were about to meet their first aliens. The communication officer turned toward the captain. Her name was Lieutenant Sarah Park. She had worked for the space agency for 10 years before joining this mission. She looked nervous. Captain, we're receiving a transmission, she said. It's from the aliens. Chen nodded. Put it on the main screen. The image that appeared was disturbing. The alien looked like a cross between a spider and a snake. It had 8 arms and skin that looked like wet leather. Its eyes were black and cold. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding metal. Human vessel, you are violating galactic hegemony space, the alien said. You will stop your ship immediately. You will surrender your vessel to hegemony forces. You will submit to interrogation and judgment. Resistance will result in your destruction. The alien's image disappeared. Chen looked around the bridge. His crew was watching him, waiting for orders. These people had volunteered to come on this mission knowing they might die. They trusted him to make the right decisions. Lieutenant Park, open a channel, Chen said. The communication system beeped. Now the aliens could hear everything Chen said. This is Captain Marcus Chen of the Earthship Vengeance, he said in a calm voice. We are here to discuss the attack on Luna Colony. We want to talk about peace between our peoples. The alien's face appeared on the screen again. This time it looked angry. There will be no discussion, the alien said. Humans are forbidden to travel in space. This was decided by the Hegemony Council. Your presence here proves humans cannot be trusted. You will surrender now, or be destroyed. Chen felt his anger rising, but he kept his voice steady. We have a right to exist in space. We have a right to protect our people. You attacked Luna Colony without warning. You killed 50,000 innocent people. We want justice. The alien made a sound like laughing, but there was no humor in it. Justice? You speak of justice? Humans are barely evolved animals. The hegemony shows mercy by allowing you to live on your home planet. Do not test our patience further. The transmission ended. Chen turned to his weapons officer, Commander Lisa Wong. She was a small woman with quick hands and sharp eyes. She had trained on every weapon system Earth had ever built. Commander Wong, What's our tactical situation? Chen asked. Wang checked her displays. 6 hegemony patrol ships are approaching from different directions. They're trying to surround us. Their weapons are charging. They look like energy beams and missile systems. Chen nodded. This was what they had expected. The aliens would try to capture or destroy the Vengeance. They probably thought one human ship would be easy to defeat. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Dr. Vasquez, are our weapons ready? Chen asked. Elena checked her science station. All the alien technology they had studied was now part of their ship's systems. The plasma cannons were fully charged. The targeting computers were locked onto the enemy ships. Everything was working perfectly. All weapons ready, Captain, Elena said. The plasma cannon array is at full power. Chen stood up from his command chair. This was the moment that would change everything. Earth was about to show the galaxy what humans could do when they were pushed too far. All hands. This is the captain, Chen announced over the ship's communication system. We are about to engage the enemy. Remember why we're here. Remember Luna Colony. Remember the families who died. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will not be victims. The alien ships moved closer. They were sleek and dangerous looking. Chen could see weapons ports opening along their hulls. Green energy was building up inside their weapon systems. They were preparing to fire. Captain, they're hailing us again, Lieutenant Park said. Put them through, Chen replied. The same alien appeared on the screen. This is your final warning, humans. Surrender now or face the consequences. Our weapons can destroy your primitive ship in seconds. Chen smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. You want to see our weapons? Very well. Commander Wang, target the 2 closest ships. Fire plasma cannons. Wang's hands moved over her controls. Firing now. The ESS Vengeance shook slightly as the plasma cannons fired. Beams of pure energy shot out from the ship. They were brighter than lightning and hotter than the center of a star. The alien ships tried to dodge, but the beams moved too fast. The first alien ship simply vanished. The plasma beam hit it directly, and the entire vessel was vaporized instantly. There was a brief flash of light, then nothing. No wreckage, no debris. The ship was completely gone. The second ship was hit in the engine section. The plasma beam tore through the alien metal like it was paper. Explosions ran along the ship's hull. Atmosphere and fire poured out of the holes. The ship spun out of control and crashed into a nearby asteroid. The remaining 4 alien ships stopped moving. Chen could imagine the panic on their bridges. They had never seen weapons like this before. In 2 seconds, the humans had destroyed ships that should have been much more advanced. Open a channel to the remaining ships, Chen ordered. Lieutenant Park nodded. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Chen, he said. You have seen what our weapons can do. We don't want to kill you, but we will defend ourselves. You attacked our colony without warning. You killed our people without mercy. Now you know that we can fight back. There was silence for several minutes. Then one of the alien ships transmitted a message. How? The alien asked. How do you have such weapons? Your species is primitive. Your technology is thousands of years behind ours. Chen looked at Elena. She shook her head slightly. They had agreed not to tell the aliens about the crashed ship. Let them wonder. Let them fear. We learned from our mistakes, Chen said. We learned that the galaxy is dangerous. We learned that we need to protect ourselves. Go back to your leaders. Tell them what you saw here. Tell them that humans are not as weak as they thought. The alien ships began to move away. They were retreating. Chen watched them go and felt a mixture of satisfaction and sadness. The first battle was over. They had won. But this was just the beginning. Elena approached the captain's chair. The aliens are leaving the system, she reported. Our sensors show they're heading toward the main hegemony base. Good, Chen said. Let them report what happened here. Let the hegemony leaders know that attacking Earth was a mistake. Wang looked up from her weapon station. Captain, should we pursue them? Chen thought about it. They could easily destroy the remaining ships, but that might not be the best choice. Sometimes it was better to let enemies escape so they could spread the story of what happened. No, Chen said. Let them go. They'll tell other aliens about our weapons. Fear spreads faster than ships. Soon the whole galaxy will know that humans can defend themselves. The bridge crew worked quietly as the vengeance continued through the Proxima system. Elena recorded everything that happened in her daily report. The first contact with the galactic hegemony had gone exactly as planned. The aliens now knew that humans had powerful weapons. The question was, what would they do with that knowledge? Chen looked at the stars ahead of them. Somewhere out there were the aliens who had destroyed Luna Colony. Somewhere out there were the leaders who had decided that humans should be trapped on Earth forever. The ESS Vengeance was coming for them, and nothing would stop it. Admiral Sarah Morrison stood in the war room of the ESS Vengeance. Maps of star systems covered the walls. Red marks showed where alien ships had been spotted. Blue marks showed where human colonies had been destroyed. The biggest red mark was over the Kepler 442 system. That was where they were going next. "Tell me about the HFY," Morrison said to the intelligence officer. Commander David Kim had spent years studying alien races. He knew their weapons, their tactics, and their weaknesses. His job was to help the Vengeance crew understand their enemies. "The HFY are the worst of them all," Kim said. "They destroyed 3 of our colonies, New Boston, Terra Verde, and Haven Station. Each time they used the same method. They turned the entire surface into glass. No warnings, no demands. They just attacked." Morrison nodded grimly. She had seen the reports. Hundreds of thousands of people had died in those attacks. Families, children, elderly people, scientists working to make life better for everyone. The HFY had killed them all without mercy. "What makes them so dangerous?" Morrison asked. Kim touched a button on the wall display. A picture of a HFY ship appeared. It looked like a giant insect made of black metal. Strange growths covered its surface. "Their ships are alive," Kim explained. "They grow them instead of building them. The hulls can heal themselves. If you damage a HFY ship, it will repair itself in minutes. Their weapons are biological too. They shoot acid that eats through metal and poison gases that kill everything living." Morrison studied the image carefully. "How many ships do they have in the Kepler 442 system?" "Intelligence reports 12 warships," Kim said. "Each one is bigger than anything humans built before the Vengeance. They've been using this system as a base for raids against human colonies." Morrison turned to look at Captain Chen. "What do you think, Marcus? Can we handle 12 HFY ships?" Chen was quiet for a moment. He had been thinking about this battle for days. The HFY were famous throughout the galaxy for their cruelty. They had ruled their sector of space for over 2,000 years. No one had ever defeated them in battle. "We have advantages they don't know about," Chen said. "Our molecular disruptor is something completely new. It doesn't just damage ships, it breaks them apart at the atomic level. Their healing abilities won't help against that." Dr. Elena Vasquez entered the war room. She had been checking the ship's weapons systems. Everything was ready for battle. "The molecular disruptor is fully charged," Elena reported. "We also have quantum torpedoes and the improved plasma cannons. But Captain, I have to warn you. The molecular disruptor uses enormous amounts of power. We can only fire it 3 times before the engines need to recharge." Morrison understood. They would have to make each shot count. Miss their targets and the battle could turn against them quickly. "How long until we reach the HFY system?" Morrison asked. 6 hours, Chen replied. "They'll detect us coming, but they won't run. The HFY never retreat. They think they're the strongest warriors in the galaxy." Morrison smiled coldly. "They're about to learn otherwise." The next 6 hours passed slowly. The crew prepared for battle. Weapons were checked and double-checked. Emergency medical teams got ready to treat wounded soldiers. Engineers made sure all systems were working perfectly. Elena spent the time studying everything they knew about HFY technology. Their bioships were amazing but also limited. They could heal from energy weapons and explosions, but they had never faced anything like the molecular disruptor. She hoped the weapon would work as designed. Finally, the ESS Vengeance dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. Immediately, alarms began sounding on the bridge. 12 HFY ships detected, reported the sensor officer. "They're moving to intercept us." Chen looked at the main screen. The HFY ships were spread out in a battle formation. They looked like a swarm of giant insects flying through space. Green and purple lights pulsed along their hulls. "They're hailing us," Lieutenant Park announced. "Put them through," Chen ordered. The face that appeared on the screen was nothing like the earlier aliens. The HFY looked like a mixture of reptile and insect. Its skin was covered in sharp scales. Its eyes glowed with red light. When it spoke, its voice was like the sound of breaking bones. "Human vessel," the Kethvar commander said. "You have entered Kethvar space. We are the ones who destroyed your pathetic colonies. We are the ones who will destroy you now. Prepare to join your dead families." Chen felt rage building inside him, but he kept his voice calm. "Commander, you murdered innocent people, men, women, and children who never hurt anyone. Today you will pay for those crimes." The Kethvar made a sound like laughing.
Humans are weak.
"Humans are food. We have ruled this galaxy for thousands of years. You are nothing." The transmission ended. Chen turned to his weapons officer. "Commander Wong, target the lead ship with the molecular disruptor." Wong's hands moved over her controls. "Target locked, Captain." "Fire." The molecular disruptor fired. It looked like a beam of pure darkness shooting through space. When it hit the lead Kethvar ship, something amazing happened. The ship didn't explode. It didn't burn. It simply came apart. Elena watched through the sensors as the Kethvar ship's molecules separated from each other. The metal hull turned into a cloud of atoms. The biological parts dissolved into their basic elements. Within seconds, a ship that had been 2 kilometers long was nothing but expanding gas and dust. The other Kethvar ships stopped moving. Elena could imagine the shock on their bridges. They had never seen a weapon that could do this. Their healing abilities were useless against something that broke matter apart at the molecular level. "Second target acquired," Wong reported. "Fire," Chen ordered. Another Kethvar ship dissolved into atoms. Now the remaining 10 ships began to move. They spread out and started firing their weapons. "Streams of acid and poison gas shot toward the Vengeance. Shields holding," reported the defense officer. "Their weapons can't penetrate our barriers." Morrison watched the tactical display. The Kethvar ships were trying to surround them. It was a good strategy against normal weapons, but they didn't understand what they were fighting. "Third shot ready," Wong announced. "Take out the largest ship," Chen commanded. The third molecular disruptor beam destroyed the Kethvar flagship. Elena checked the power readings. Just as she had warned, the weapon was now drained. They would have to use conventional weapons for the rest of the battle. "Switch to quantum torpedoes," Morrison ordered. "Target multiple ships." The quantum torpedoes were different from the molecular disruptor. They created small black holes that collapsed after a few seconds. When they hit the Kethvar ships, they tore huge holes in the biohulls. The ships tried to heal themselves, but the quantum effects prevented proper regeneration. One by one, the Kethvar ships were destroyed. Their biological weapons were useless against the Vengeance's shields. Their self-healing abilities couldn't handle the new human weapons. Within an hour, 11 of the 12 ships were dead. The last Kethvar ship tried to escape. It turned away from the battle and started running toward the edge of the system. "Should we pursue?" Wong asked. Chen thought about it. The Kethvar had murdered hundreds of thousands of humans. They deserved to be destroyed completely, but one ship escaping might serve a purpose. "Let it go," Chen decided. "Let it tell the galaxy what happened here. Let every alien race know that humans have weapons they can't imagine." Elena recorded everything in her mission log. The battle with the Kethvar had been even more successful than expected. The aliens who had terrorized this sector for thousands of years had been defeated by one human ship, but Elena also felt worried. Each battle was making humanity more feared throughout the galaxy. The molecular disruptor and quantum torpedoes were weapons of incredible destruction. She wondered if they were creating more enemies than they were defeating. Admiral Morrison seemed to read her thoughts. "Doctor, are you concerned about our methods?" Elena nodded slowly. "These weapons are very powerful. Maybe too powerful. The aliens are starting to fear us more than respect us." Morrison looked at the debris field where the Kethvar ships had been destroyed. "Fear and respect are often the same thing, Doctor." The Kethvar understood only strength. Now they know humans are strong. The ESS Vengeance began moving toward its next target. Behind them, the surviving Kethvar ship fled toward Kethvar home space. Elena knew that ship would carry news of humanity's terrible new weapons. Soon, every alien race in the galaxy would know that Earth's children had become something to fear. As the ship traveled through space, Elena wondered what they would find at their next destination. More aliens to fight? More colonies to avenge? Or perhaps something that would make them question whether this path of war was really the right choice for humanity? Commander James Liu stood before the main tactical display in the ESS Vengeance's Operations Center. The planet Vega Prime filled the screen, a blue and green world surrounded by massive space stations. This was the regional capital of the Galactic Hegemony. This was where Earth's peace mission had been tortured and murdered on live broadcasts across the galaxy. Liu had volunteered for this mission because his sister had been part of that peace delegation. Ambassador Maria Liu had gone to Vega Prime with hopes of preventing war between humans and aliens. Instead, the hegemony leaders had decided to make an example of her. They broadcast her execution to every planet in their territory, claiming it showed what happened to species that challenged their authority. "Commander, we're detecting heavy orbital defenses," reported the sensor operator. 43 defense platforms, each one the size of a city. Energy readings suggest they have massive shield generators and weapons that could destroy most fleets. Liu nodded grimly. Vega Prime had been the hegemony's capital for over 500 years. No enemy force had ever successfully attacked this system. The orbital platforms had been built over centuries, each one designed to stop different types of weapons. Captain Chen joined Liu at the tactical display. "What's your assessment, Commander?" "The platforms are arranged in 3 defensive rings," Liu explained. "The outer ring has long-range missiles and energy beams. The middle ring has particle weapons and gravity cannons. The inner ring protects the planet directly with shield projectors and anti-ship mines." Dr. Elena Vasquez approached from her science station. "I've been analyzing their defense systems. They're designed to fight conventional space battles, ships attacking in formations using normal weapons. They've never faced anything like our gravity weapons." Liu had been studying the gravity weapons for weeks. They were based on alien technology that humans had improved. Instead of shooting energy or missiles, these weapons manipulated gravity itself. They could crush ships, tear apart space stations, or create black holes that lasted for minutes. "How long do we need to break through their defenses?" Chen asked. "With conventional weapons, it would take a fleet of hundreds of ships several days," Liu replied. "With our gravity weapons, we can probably do it in 6 hours. Admiral Morrison entered the operations center. She had been reviewing intelligence reports about Vega Prime's government. These were the aliens who had ordered the execution of Earth's peace delegation. They were the ones who had broadcast the murders to show other species what happened to those who opposed the hegemony. "The planet's leadership is in the capital city," Morrison said. "Population of 12 million aliens. Government buildings are heavily shielded, but they're not expecting an attack from space. No one has ever gotten past their orbital defenses." Liu felt a cold satisfaction. After months of watching the execution videos, after months of planning revenge, they were finally here. His sister's death would be avenged. "All stations prepare for assault," Chen announced over the ship's communication system. "This is for Ambassador Liu and the rest of Earth's peace delegation. This is for every human who tried to prevent this war through diplomacy." The ESS Vengeance moved toward the outer ring of defense platforms. Immediately, alarms began sounding throughout the hegemony system. Ships started launching from the planet's surface. The orbital platforms began charging their weapons. "Incoming transmission from the planetary governor," Lieutenant Park reported. "Put it through," Chen ordered. The alien who appeared on screen was tall and thin, with silver skin and large black eyes. Governor Zeklon had been in charge of Vega Prime for 20 years. He was the one who had personally ordered the execution of the human peace delegation. "Human vessel, you are committing an act of war against the galactic hegemony," Zeklon said. "Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Our defenses have never been breached. Your single ship cannot hope to succeed where entire fleets have failed." Liu stepped forward so the alien could see him. "Governor Zeklon, my name is Commander James Liu. You murdered my sister, Ambassador Maria Liu. You tortured her and the rest of the peace delegation. You broadcast their deaths to the galaxy. Today you will pay for those crimes." The governor's expression changed. For the first time, he looked uncertain. "Your sister died because she represented a species that refuses to accept its place in the galactic order. Humans must learn that some actions have consequences." "You're right," Liu said coldly. "Actions do have consequences. You're about to learn what the consequences are for murdering diplomats." The transmission ended. Liu turned to his weapons team. "Begin the assault. Target the outer defense ring with gravity weapons." The first gravity weapon fired. It looked like a distortion in space itself, a ripple that bent light around it. When it hit the nearest defense platform, something incredible happened. The massive station, which was over 10 kilometers long, began to collapse in on itself. The gravity weapon created a localized field where gravity was 100 times stronger than normal. The platform's metal hull couldn't handle the stress. It folded like paper, crushing everything inside. Within minutes, the mighty defense station had been compressed into a ball of twisted metal, less than a kilometer wide. "Second target acquired," reported the weapons officer. "Fire," Liu commanded. Another defense platform collapsed under impossible gravity. Then another. The weapons were working exactly as designed. The aliens had built their defenses to stop energy beams and missiles, but they had no protection against weapons that manipulated the fundamental forces of physics. The remaining platforms in the outer ring tried to return fire. Energy beams and missiles shot toward the Vengeance, but the ship's shields held easily. The alien weapons had been designed hundreds of years ago. They were no match for the advanced defensive systems of Earth's battleship. "Outer ring destroyed," Liu reported, moving to the middle ring. The middle ring platforms had different weapons: particle beams that could punch through most armor, gravity cannons that could pull ships apart. These were the hegemony's most advanced weapons developed over centuries of warfare, but they still couldn't handle what humans had created. The ESS Vengeance fired quantum torpedoes at the particle beam platforms. The torpedoes created tiny black holes that lasted just long enough to tear the stations apart from the inside. Gravity cannons tried to grab the human ship, but the Vengeance's engines were too powerful. It broke free and destroyed the platforms with molecular disruptor beams. "Middle ring eliminated," Liu announced, beginning assault on the inner ring. The inner ring was different. Instead of offensive weapons, these platforms had massive shield generators that protected the planet itself. They also had automated defense systems that fired thousands of small missiles designed to overwhelm attacking ships. Liu had planned for this. Launch fighter squadrons. Use the new quantum torpedoes. The Vengeance carried 60 fighter craft, each one piloted by Earth's best pilots. They spread out around the inner ring platforms and began their attack. The quantum torpedoes they carried were smaller versions of the ship's main weapons. Each one could create a black hole the size of a building. The shield generators tried to protect themselves, but the quantum effects passed right through their defenses. One by one, the platforms were destroyed. The automated missile systems fired desperately, but the human fighters were too fast and too well armed. Within 4 hours, all of Vega Prime's orbital defenses had been destroyed. The planet hung in space, completely defenseless for the first time in its history. "Open a channel to the planetary government," Chen ordered. Governor Zeklon appeared on screen again, but he looked very different now. His silver skin had turned pale. His large eyes were wide with fear. Behind him, Liu could see hegemony officials running in panic. "This is impossible," Zeklon said. "No one can break through our defenses. No one has ever succeeded." "Your defenses were designed to fight old weapons," Liu replied. "We don't use old weapons. Now you will surrender unconditionally, or we will demonstrate what our planet-killing weapons can do." The governor was quiet for a long moment. Around him, other aliens were shouting and arguing in their own language. Finally, Zeklon spoke again. "What are your terms?" Liu looked at Admiral Morrison, who nodded. They had planned this conversation carefully. "You will release all prisoners from species that have opposed the hegemony," Liu said. "You will pay reparations for the colonies you destroyed. You will guarantee safe passage for all human ships. And you will personally stand trial for the murder of Earth's peace delegation." "And if we refuse?" Zeklon asked. Morrison stepped forward. "Then we will turn your planet into another Luna colony. We will show the galaxy what happens to those who murder diplomats under flags of truce." The threat was clear. The humans had weapons that could destroy planets. They had already proven they could break through any defense. Vega Prime's population of 12 million aliens was completely at their mercy. We accept your terms," Zeklon said finally. Liu felt a mixture of satisfaction and sadness. Justice for his sister had been achieved, but at what cost? The Vengeance had just forced an entire planet to surrender through the threat of genocide. They were becoming the very thing they had originally fought against. Elena approached Liu as the surrender negotiations ceased. Dr. Elena Vasquez sat in her laboratory aboard the ESS Vengeance, surrounded by screens showing alien communication intercepts. For the past 2 weeks, she had been monitoring transmissions from across the galaxy. What she was seeing disturbed her deeply. Fear was spreading faster than the Vengeance itself could travel. The first reports had come from the Proxima system, where they had destroyed the hegemony patrol ships. Within hours, word of humanity's new weapons had reached every hegemony base within 50 light-years. The initial reaction had been disbelief. How could primitive humans have such advanced technology? But then came reports from the Kethvar territory, news that the mighty Kethvar war fleet had been completely destroyed by a single human ship. The Kethvar had ruled their sector for over 2,000 years. They were considered the greatest warriors in the galaxy. If humans could defeat them so easily, what chance did anyone else have? Elena played back one of the intercepted transmissions. It was from a Zephyrian trade convoy that had been traveling near human space, when news of Vega Prime's surrender reached them. All ships. This is convoy leader Althron, the alien voice said in panicked tones. We have received confirmation that Vega Prime has fallen. The humans have weapons that can destroy planets. Change course immediately. Abandon all trade routes near human territory. The Zephyrian Empire hereby declares all human space off-limits to our vessels. Elena switched to another transmission. This one was from the Crystalline Confederacy, a peaceful alliance of scientists and explorers on the far side of the galaxy. Emergency session of the Confederacy Council, announced the speaker. Item 1, discussion of the human threat. Intelligence reports indicate that Earth has developed weapons of unprecedented destructive power. The species previously known for its diplomatic missions has become a force of galactic terror. All Confederacy ships are ordered to avoid human territory at all costs. The pattern was the same everywhere Elena looked. Species that had never heard of humanity were now fleeing at the mere mention of Earth. Trade routes that had existed for centuries were being abandoned. Entire star systems were being evacuated based on rumors that the human battleship might be coming. Captain Chen entered Elena's laboratory. He looked tired. The constant battles and negotiations were wearing on everyone aboard the ship. Doctor, what's the latest intelligence? Chen asked. Elena gestured to her screens. It's extraordinary, Captain. The psychological impact of our actions is far greater than the physical damage we've caused. We've fought 3 battles and destroyed maybe 50 alien ships total. But the entire galaxy is reacting as if we're an unstoppable invasion force. Chen studied the communication intercepts. Is that good or bad for our mission? I'm not sure, Elena admitted. Our goal was to make the galaxy respect human rights and stop attacking our colonies. But instead of respect, we're creating terror. Species are fleeing entire sectors because they're afraid we might show up. Elena pulled up a tactical map showing ship movements across the galaxy. Red arrows showed alien fleets retreating from areas near human space. Blue arrows showed trade convoys changing course to avoid human territory. Green arrows showed refugee ships fleeing from systems where humans might attack. Look at this, Elena said, pointing to the map. The Andorian Republic has withdrawn all their ships from 3 star systems. The hegemony has abandoned 4 frontier worlds. Even the Nexus Trade Alliance is rerouting their commercial traffic. Chen was quiet for a moment. The Nexus Trade Alliance controlled the most important shipping routes in the galaxy. If they were avoiding human space, it meant the economic impact of humanity's campaign was spreading far beyond their intended targets. What about military responses? Chen asked. Are any alien races organizing to fight us? Elena switched to a different set of intercepts. These were military communications between various alien governments. That's the interesting part, Elena said. Most of them are too scared to fight. Listen to this transmission from the Hegemony High Command. She played a recording of alien military leaders discussing strategy. Their voices sounded desperate and confused. Fleet Admiral Korthal reporting, said one voice. Recommend immediate withdrawal of all forces from the human border sectors. Our conventional weapons are ineffective against their technology. Suggest defensive posture until we can develop countermeasures. Countermeasures against what? Replied another voice. We don't even understand how their weapons work. The Kethvar ships were simply unmade. Molecular bonds destroyed, atoms scattered. It's like they have control over the fundamental forces of reality. Elena stopped the recording. They're not just afraid of our firepower. They're afraid because they don't understand our technology. To them it looks like magic. Chen rubbed his forehead. Are there any species planning to resist? A few, Elena replied. The warrior clans of Rigel are talking about organizing a united front. But even they're arguing about whether it's worth the risk. Most alien leaders are choosing retreat over resistance. Elena showed Chen another map, this one displaying refugee movements. Millions of ships were fleeing from areas where humans might potentially attack. Entire populations were abandoning their homeworlds based on nothing more than fear. "Captain, we need to consider the long-term implications," Elena said carefully. "If we continue this campaign, we might destabilize the entire galaxy. These refugee movements are creating food shortages, overcrowding, and economic collapse in some systems." Chen looked at the data Elena was showing him. She was right. Their actions were having consequences far beyond what they had planned. But he also remembered Luna Colony. He remembered the 50,000 people who had died there. He remembered the aliens' message that humans should stay trapped on Earth forever. "Doctor, do you think we should stop?" Chen asked. Elena was quiet for a long time. "I think we need to be very careful about what we're becoming. When we left Earth, we were seeking justice for the attack on Luna Colony, but we're starting to look like conquerors instead of defenders." Chen understood Elena's concerns, but he also knew they couldn't stop now. The galaxy had learned to fear humanity, but fear without respect was dangerous. If they stopped too soon, the aliens might unite against Earth once their panic subsided. Admiral Morrison entered the laboratory. She had been reviewing strategic reports from Earth Command. "Dr. Vasquez, Captain Chen, we've received new orders from Earth," Morrison announced. "Intelligence suggests that several alien governments are planning to meet at the Galactic Council. They want to discuss the human problem and coordinate a response." Elena felt a chill. A coordinated response could mean a massive alliance against Earth. "Exactly," Morrison said. "Earth Command wants us to send a clear message before that meeting takes place. We need to demonstrate that any alliance against humanity would be futile." Chen looked at the maps showing alien ship movements. "What do they want us to do?" Morrison activated a new display showing a heavily defended star system. "This is the Tribunal Nexus. It's where the Galactic Council meets. Earth Command wants us to attack the system and destroy their defensive fleet. Show them that even their most protected location isn't safe from human weapons." Elena stared at the display in shock. The Tribunal Nexus was home to billions of aliens from hundreds of different species. It was considered neutral ground where disputes were settled peacefully. Attacking it would be like declaring war on the entire galaxy. "Admiral, that's a civilian target," Elena protested. "The Tribunal Nexus has hospitals, schools, research stations. Millions of innocent people live there." Morrison's expression was grim. "Doctor, the galaxy is organizing against us. If we don't act now, we might face a united enemy that even our weapons can't defeat. Sometimes terrible choices are necessary to prevent even worse outcomes." Elena looked at Captain Chen, hoping he would refuse the order. But Chen was studying the tactical display with the expression of a man who had already made up his mind. "How long until we reach the Tribunal Nexus?" Chen asked. 3 days at maximum speed," Morrison replied. Elena felt sick. 3 days until they attacked a peaceful system full of civilians. 3 days until humanity crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. She thought about the intercepted communications, the fear spreading across the galaxy, the refugees fleeing their homes because of rumors about human weapons. "Captain," Elena said quietly, "if we do this, there will be no going back. The galaxy will never see us as defenders of justice. They'll see us as monsters." Chen looked at her with tired eyes. "Doctor, maybe that's what we need to be. Maybe the galaxy only understands strength. Maybe fear is the only language that will keep our people safe." Elena walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien families were packing their belongings and fleeing their homes because they were afraid of what humans might do. Children were asking their parents why the scary humans were coming. Leaders were making desperate plans to defend against weapons they didn't understand. The ESS Vengeance continued through space toward its next target. Behind them, the galaxy held its breath and waited to see what humanity would do next. Elena recorded everything in her daily log, knowing that future historians would need to understand how Earth's children had become the galaxy's greatest fear.